Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. The background video for this is, or the backdrop I should say, is the mining facility 141 on Daymar. There's a natural little racetrack that goes around, called a racetrack, it's more or less a trench, a canyon that goes around the base itself. It makes for a pretty fun racing experience, weapons on and weapons off, as it does have elements of free fire and armistice zones. Really cool place to have fun. So, you know, you got a small group of friends, take some rovers or some tumbrils out there, or even dragonflies, and just have a good time racing around. So, what is today's video about? Well, it's about a little bit of everything. It's a conglomeration of things. We did, of course, have our Texas Org Ops last night. I feel like things were a little disastrous early on, and I will take the blame for that. But all in all, it sounds like we had pretty good feedback. People really enjoyed the op that we went on. I want to apologize to you right away that I don't have very much quality footage for the op last night to bring you guys, for you guys who want to see that. I had some issues, let's just say it that way, and then I even had to miss the entire second stage of the op, do some almost a kind of a family crisis. So yesterday was a rough day. It was a really long day and a really rough day. It was the 3rd anniversary of my mother's passing. We went and spent time with my grandmother and brother, his wife and child. You know, we went out to the cemetery and all that. So it was already started off on a, you know, an emotional kind of day. Then we also have to talk to my grandmother about, you know, assisted living and that sort of thing as well. Not an easy talk to have. You don't want your loved ones to have to be in that position, and it's a tough position for everybody. Nobody wants to have to require somebody else to help take care of them. So after traveling 100 miles to do that, I had to turn around and travel another 100 miles just a couple of hours later to attend a funeral for my wife's really good friend. She's been friends with this lady for many years now, and they suddenly passed away last week, and we got asked to come to the funeral, which my wife didn't hesitate to do. So we spent, you know, some more time there, and when we finally got back home after driving, you know, another, I guess, 45 miles, 50 miles, you know, we didn't even get much time to relax. I got on for the op. I had to type up the op first, which is one of the reasons why I felt like it was somewhat of a disaster last night, because I didn't give the guys fair warning or advanced warning on the setup of the op. As a lot of you guys know, if you have an org and you're trying to do these large-scale ops, it takes some setup time. It's best if you can get things organized way in advance. You can tell your people where they need to be, what they need to bring, with plenty of time in advance, so they can just, you know, let's say you have to, for us, we had to spawn at Levski, or set our spawn for there. It just makes it quicker. You know, if you get in game and people are at Port Olisar or Microtech and they've got to fly all the way over to the op site, that's going to be 20 minutes at least before they get there. So you've already wasted 20 minutes of time on the initial setup because everybody wasn't in the right location. So that was one of the issues we faced last night, is that when I typed up the org op, I did set the starting location, but we're only talking a few hours advanced warning. So, you know, I don't blame my guys for not being in the right place at the right time. This week, we will definitely plan accordingly and have it set up early, so that everybody knows what to bring, they know where to be, and they can be the best prepared as possible, and we can get into the op in just a matter of minutes. To tell you how long it took to set up last night, it took an hour and a half to get everybody on board, set up, get their spawn points set up, get them in position, figure out what they wanted to do as far as defending, attacking, etc. That's too long to set up an op. And as you know, Star Citizen servers are not the most stable servers in the world, but we did not experience too many stability issues last night. And that whole hour and a half time of setup, I mean, it was not a huge deal as far as server stability. Now, we did have cases of lag. We had cases of game bugs. We used a carrick in the op, and people were falling through the carrick. Doors weren't opening. I mean, there's just all sorts of little issues and bugs like that. But other than that, a lot of the people really enjoyed it from what I'm hearing, and you know, they liked the op. So in the future, again, we will be prepared ahead of time and try to get everybody prepared as early as possible so they can get in the right place that they need to be in order to run these ops. Let me know in the comments down below if you've experienced similar issues with your friends or orgs, you know, when you're trying to prepare an op. Does it take forever? Do you guys have plenty advanced warning? You know, any tips and tricks would definitely help as well, though we're pretty sure we know what we need to do in order to make the op come off a little smoother. You know, we've got enough experience at this point, we know what we need to do. So, the last 2 weeks ops have been part of a grander scheme that I have going on for the org right now that the leaders and I have talked about, called War Games. So the way War Games is going to work is we're going to split up 2 teams where Alundel will be commanding one team and Captain Jakes will be commanding another team. These are 2 officers in my org, Texas, and they've agreed to take this on. Now, of course, they'll be able to set up seconds and thirds in command if they want to. I'm going to leave that up to them. And they're going to be able to train their guys. So the ops that we're doing right now is just kind of a brief taste of War Games and how they're all going to kind of link together story-wise and how we can go from one op to the next all in like one night. So the plan is we're going to go through a few of these early on, and then we're going to separate our teams, get people in teams, and they can start training for the ops. These guys already know which ops are coming up first. We'll give them a week to prepare for each stage. Then we'll do the stages kind of as a practice run or a milk run, and then on the final weekend we will do the whole War Games with all the ops back to back to back, or as best as we can anyways. And one of the good things about 3.11 when it comes out is you're going to be able to forgive your buddy for shooting you, so that gives me a little more flexibility on where we're going to do these ops. You know, right now we've been doing them around Levski because you don't have to worry about a crime stat when you shoot people around Levski. Now, that's not, you know, giving you guys free reign to just go shoot whoever you want. But you do have that capability without, you know, getting a crime stat for doing it. So our first 2 stages have been around Levski. The next stage will probably be around Hurston. I'm still looking into the possibilities of that, and I'll get that information out to my org as soon as I come up with a scenario that I feel comfortable with. So that would be the plan for War Games. We'll just go from one to the next and the next and the next, and then, you know, these guys will train, and then they'll have the final showdown on a weekend yet to be named. We also have planned, you know, some sort of light fighter tournament, which we wanted to do back in May. Yeah, you heard me right, May. But they disabled the private servers on Arena Commander, so we cannot do that the way we want to. We have to wait until CIG can return the private servers back to their, you know, former glory or whatever, and let us be able to use them so that we can designate who's on what team and you know, what ships they're using and the observers and all that. So something to look out for. Hopefully they'll get that back in 3.11 as well, though it could be even later. That's going to be something we want to bring to you guys live on several different streaming accounts. So definitely look forward to the light fighter competition. It should be a lot of fun. It's only org folks right now, so it's only going to be anybody that's in the org. If you're not in the org, you won't be able to participate in that. So if you want to join the org, that information is going to be in the description of this video. You can definitely check that out. We will be moving into like medium fighters and heavy fighters at some point, you know, for those tournament type gameplays. You know, I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it could be quite interesting as we get into the bigger ships. Hopefully, you know, sometime in the future we'll actually be able to put people in turrets of some of those ships, and we'll be able to bring in, you know, multi-crew vessels with a multiple crew to take on some of those challenges. That's going to be something that I'm looking forward to as well. This week we will have some other videos coming up. You'll see some more racing videos where we race with weapons active. I know it looks like we have weapons active here, but the ships that are flying around the track are just shooting, just having fun. They're not shooting at anybody, really. We're not trying to shoot to hurt. But we do end up doing a race around this track where it's weapons free, where you have a driver and a gunner, and it's quite interesting how that turns out. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I think the other guys did too. It's something we may end up doing more of in the future. Then I should have a Tex video coming up this week. I have not visited Tex in quite a while, so I'm going to bring him back in and start, I guess, a chapter 2 or a new storyline for him, as we kind of wrapped up the first storyline after about 6 episodes, I believe. So we'll start a new storyline with Tex and see if we can't get him into some shenanigans on 3.10.2. But guys, if you like this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like these types of videos where I kind of walk through some ideas and stuff? Let me know. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.